Hey guys, Ethan Quant here, aka EQ, and you are tuned into another amazing episode of the Real EQ podcast, where every single episode I bring you somebody who I personally know, admire, and in this instance, I actually really do love. My guest is a phenomenal human being, and I'll share with you all this amazing bio that she sent me. My guest is a certified fitness expert, IFBB Pro, my wife, fitness model, influencer, and wellness advocate dedicated to helping busy women transform their health and confidence. With over a decade of experience in the fitness space, she has empowered thousands of individuals, both in person and through her online programs and platforms, to achieve sustainable results while embracing their best selves. And like she says, you deserve to look and feel amazing. Now that I got that out of the way, my guest today on the Real EQ podcast is none other than my amazing, beautiful, talented, sexy as fuck wife. This is my podcast, I can case. Dekel Quant. She's Quant now. You bring your passport.
I didn't bring my passport. I didn't know I needed it.
No, just to prove to people that you was a Quant now.
Oh, I needed a passport to prove?
Well, before it wasn't really, you ain't had no papers.
Whatever.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. I know that you're super busy. I do appreciate you taking the time to come on this podcast. It's something that I've been wanting. What you know? Who let them in here? It's something that I know I've been wanting for us to do for some time. I was a guest on your podcast, Flex Pretty Podcast. And so it's awesome to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Now, I like to start off all of my episodes asking my guests this very first question, which is, how do you define success?
How do I define success? I think my definition of success has definitely evolved over the years. But success to me is doing what you love every day, or spending a majority of your time doing what you love, enjoying the process of you becoming better. And for me, success is enjoyment of life, like whatever that looks like. And for me, that has evolved. So it used to be very fixated on how much I could earn in a year or how much I could earn each month, which I think is still important to me, but it's evolved in that, what am I doing? Like, why is that important? Why are the earnings important? Is it the freedom that allows? Is it the impact that allows me to make? Is it the experiences that allows me to have? So I think all those things for me are what success, like enjoying the process of hitting those targets, hitting those goals, becoming a pro, all those things were like checklist items of success for me, but also learning to enjoy the process of getting those things is what success evolved to.
So based on that definition of success, would you say that you're successful?
Based on that definition of success, I would say that I am successful, yes.
Yeah, great. So, of course, naturally, our dynamic is a bit different than all of the other guys, right? In terms of the fact that we're married. Now, I would say that one of my guests before mentioned what he kind of looks for in a partner, right? He's in a partnership, very, very awesome partnership. And honestly, while he was sharing his experience with his partner and their relationship, I was like, ooh, that sounds kind of like me and my wife. But of course, it's not his wife. It's this other fellow that he started his business with. But it made me think about the similarities and commonalities between marriage and business. Mm-hmm. And so let's discuss that a little bit. What would you say, or do you feel as though there are similarities between having a successful business and having a successful marriage?
I do think there are similarities in marriage and business. I think one of the biggest things that I believe is the communication aspect, the importance of like clear communication, the importance of having those tough conversations, not harboring feelings and like not keeping things on your, chest, like getting them out in a respectful way, but not, holding on to stuff until it bubbles up and then, explodes into something worse. I think also just being aligned, right? I think in marriage, you need to be on the same page, have, your commonalities, know that you're working towards the same goal or same goals in a marriage. And I think that translates to business as well. You can't be chasing different things. There has to be some alignment. You play on each other's or you leverage each other's strengths. And it should be the goal of your partner to kind of pick up wherever those weaknesses are, or at least, work together to turn those weaknesses into not as big of weaknesses, if not strengths. So I think those are similarities that come to mind, like off top of mind between, being in a romantic relationship, a marriage, and being in a, business relationship, business partnership with somebody.
How do you define a successful marriage?
I think similar to how people define personal success, a successful marriage really depends on the individuals. But for me, because for some people, a successful marriage could just be staying together. Like, we could be doing our own things. We could be living our own best lives. But if we together and we legally married, we're a successful marriage, which I feel like we all know a couple of those, right?
Yeah.
But for me personally, a successful marriage is a marriage that each partner, each spouse, I can't say, yeah. Each partner has room to be themselves and space to be their authentic self. And they're also allowed or, given space to grow in that, in their authentic selves and evolve, and that their partner is a catalyst to that growth as well, not a hindrance to that growth. So I think for me, a successful marriage is two people coming together as individuals, evolving together as individuals, but also working towards common things and goals that are obviously unique to them or important to them, hitting the mic. But working towards these goals that are important to them, and, they're defining their own meaning of success in their own marriage, like whether that's, tangible things like they want to own a home, they want to start a family, they want to take 21 vacations a year,
21 vacations
21. Whether those things they're doing to, working together to achieve or accomplish, but also from an emotional side, to me, at least, a successful marriage is, feeling like you have that individualism and you have a partner that also supports you in becoming your best self as an individual, and that when you come together, you as individuals are amplified and uplifted and, just like vibes,
What is that?
Okay, you exhausted your limit for that already.
Right?
You can't do it no more.
I don't want to do it no more. I was just trying to be like, I think it's stupid.
Okay, so don't do it no more.
Okay, I ain't doing that no more. All right. So would you say, given that definition of a successful marriage, would you say that we have a successful marriage?
I would say we have a successful marriage by my definition, yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Would you say we have a successful marriage?
Yeah, I definitely think that we do have a successful marriage.
Do you have a different definition of a successful marriage?
No, I think my definition of a successful marriage is a bit more, I guess, concise. I think, where a successful marriage is obviously one where two individuals can maintain their individuality.
Are you copying my answer?
No, you said it's very similar, but
Okay.
more concise.
Okay.
Two individuals could maintain their individuality, grow as individuals, but also grow as a unit. Mm-hmm. And in a healthy and happy way. I think a successful marriage is healthy and happy.
So there's like a lot of debate now online and just, I guess, discourse online about, I don't know, this could be coming from a religious side more so than not, but people are saying, there's nothing in biblical terms that says that your relationship or your marriage has to be happy. Like, happiness shouldn't be a requirement for marriage. So you don't agree with that?
What?
Yeah, like that's an actual thing on, like, people saying that there's this rising number of divorces and separations because people are no longer happy, and there's this argument that that is not important.
Well, here's the thing. If you're talking about happiness versus misery, does that automatically mean that because happiness is not a requirement, misery is an option? I mean, because I don't walk around. And for me, so I guess for us to define what happiness is, right?
Yeah, like, that's a whole nother rabbit
hole. And I don't. Don't get it twisted. I don't want people to get it twisted and feel like I feel that, as my wife, it is your responsibility to make me happy. I don't subscribe to that school of thought. However, I do not want to be unhappily married to you.
Or you also don't want your wife to be the source of your unhappiness.
I don't want somebody that I spend every day with, I wake up next to, I go to sleep next to, is involved with my day-to-day to be a source of misery and confusion and strife. No, I do not want that. And so that means that I do not subscribe to the happiness is a requirement of marriage, then that's what that means. But I think it's ridiculous to think that you should be miserable and remain in a miserable state.
I think miserable is extreme. Maybe just unhappy, not feeling fulfilled, feeling like there's more for you.
I don't think that's a marriage thing. I think that's a personal thing. That's a personal problem.
Yeah.
You need to figure out what fulfills you.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a marriage thing.
But yeah, I agree. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, rock and ride. It's a conversation, man. Be yourself. Express. Embrace your
I'm just saying, I
individuality.
think in that case, if someone is married and they are feeling, like they aren't fulfilled as an individual, but they are already in this marriage with their partner, is it still then, the argument is that being unhappy is not grounds for divorce or separation. So if you're in a marriage or a partnership, well, I guess marriage, not marriage. If you're in a marriage and you feel like you're not fulfilled because of, let's say we know it's because likely of personal work. Well, not always, but in this instance, it's because this person isn't fulfilled personally. They need to do their own inner work. Do you think that it is then? Do you still hold the same, I guess, position? They're already in the marriage. Do they now do that work within the marriage, or do they need to
leave the marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it depends. So my thing is that we ain't got to do a hypothetical. I am married to you, right? You are married to me.
Yes.
Right? And so my thing is that if at any point in time, hoping that because we have a healthy marriage and we understand that as a part of a healthy marriage, that sometimes you have to have these awkward conversations and these uncomfortable conversations, that if for some reason you feel unfulfilled, that's a conversation that we can have, right? And then from that conversation, we can determine, okay, well, what makes you fulfilled? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And if it is something that I can support you in, then I will support you in that as a loving husband.
Yeah.
Right?
You have done that, yeah.
Yeah, I tell the people when I do that.
You don't remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course I remember, but you mean this me? I know I did it. Remember? I was the one that did it. Of course I know. What I'm saying is, I can say it.
You want me to tell the story?
Yeah,
because,
that's what you're saying. Yes, you're a better storyteller.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, so I think it was maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago?
I think it's a little longer than that, but okay.
I don't think it was longer than 2 years ago.
Okay, let's go.
But 2 years ago, I expressed to you that I just was feeling I wouldn't say unfulfilled, but very going through the motions in my life in general. And I told you that a couple times in a few months span. And I just remember telling you, I just didn't feel like myself. I felt like the things that brought me joy were draining me. The things that I usually enjoyed felt like burdens. Like I was fatigued and my energy was low. I was just not feeling like I was used to feeling. And nothing really had changed in my life, like emotion-wise or like activity-wise, anything like that. And I remember expressing that to you. You asked me, what do I think I need to do? And I was like, I really don't know. Like, I tried to just kind of like sleep it off, continue going through the motions. And I remember one day I don't know if you told me in person or you messaged me. I think you may have just messaged me the confirmation link to the therapy session. And you set me up with like a package of sessions. This was longer, you're right, because it wasn't during COVID, it was after. But it was virtual therapy sessions that I was able to have and kind of talk through with the therapist exactly what was happening. We figured out that I was actually on the verge of burnout and really put some stuff in place, or she helped me put some frameworks and strategies in place to get through that period. And so in that case, it wasn't anything that you could do, I guess, hands-on to make me get out of that place of what I was feeling. But you did jump in and take action to like, okay, well, I can't do it, so here is someone that I think can help you get through this. And so I always tell you I appreciate that a lot for not just brushing me off like, well, you figure it out, you work through this, it's your problem, but like realizing like this is something that I can't necessarily help her get through, but I want to be there and support her in a way that she's able to still get through this, hopefully get through this, and thankfully I did because of you.
That is what I feel should be done in instances like that. Now, if you would come to me and say, listen, I'm feeling unfulfilled, I need to go and juice a bunch of dudes, I can't support that. I am not going to be the one to be like, yes, okay, go and frolic and do whatever you got to do with whoever you got to do it. I can be like, all right, well, obviously you could go do it. I ain't that dude. Like, I ain't waiting here for you to figure that shit out. Like,
why is that? Like, that's the most extreme thing.
I don't think. Yeah, I think that's pretty extreme.
It's
that's
pretty
the most.
extreme.
Yeah, for me, yeah. Like, I know some dudes into that. I ain't one of them.
Okay, thank you.
But it was something, and then or it could be like if you were like, hey, I need some time to figure some stuff out. Like, I ain't gonna never want you to be in a situation where you feel you stuck. Right? Like, if you feel you need to bounce, you can bounce. Like, if you feel you need to go, you go.
After I said that heartwarming story to you, that's what you responded with me.
But I honestly think that's the beauty of our relationship, because the reality is that I feel that I know I can be okay if you decide that you want to go, and I feel that you feel the same way. Like, you can be okay if I decide to go. So it ain't got nothing to do with, because your happiness and fulfillment is not tied into me, because you have maintained your individuality throughout the course of our almost now 10 years of being together, 6 years of marriage. Wow, that's a decade. Boy, I remember when I met you the first time,
Okay.
21 biddy. Now you was a nice biddier.
I'm a seasoned biddy.
What is a seasoned biddy? Bitter? Biddy? No, not bitter. That isn't But so
Stay
that's
focused.
so that's like my thing, right? Like it's all good. Getting into marriage, right? Because I remember when we met, like one of the things is you had like this list. You ain't want nobody with no child. You ain't want nobody who was married before. I think I was like, I crossed off a couple of them things on that list, and we still together, right? Like, what would you say are some misconceptions you had about marriage in general that you realize now were like misconceptions, or wasn't really what it's about? Like, was there anything?
I didn't really go into marriage with misconceptions or really any like set expectations. I grew up in a two-parent household. As I get older, I realized, there were probably some things in in my parents' marriage that were not as healthy as they could have been, like looking back now as an adult. And so, but I think like just the fact of like growing up in that two-parent household until I was, my mom passed when I was 14. Until that point, I feel like I witnessed, a healthy marriage and a healthy partnership, like watching them work together in business, watching them just kind of, take care of the home together and really operate as partners. I think that's something that stuck with me as I got older and started getting into relationships, like wanting that level of partnership and like we're on the same page, we're in this together at least. So that really was probably my only like, okay, no, this is what I want. Everything else I kind of like feel like I had to learn what I wanted as I kind of went on with life. And like, okay, you kind of learn what you want because you don't want certain things. But yeah, I mean, I think you say I had a list. I don't think I had a list of things that I didn't want, but there were just things that weren't like, oh yeah, that's definitely what I want. Like I didn't say I only want to date men with kids. I only want to date men that have been married before. Those weren't things that were like non-negotiables for me. But like they weren't things that I was actually actively seeking either. Like how some women would be like, I only date married men. Some women say that.
I know no woman who would say that.
Oh, okay. It's a trick question. Okay.
Me? No.
But so those weren't things that I was like seeking, but I wasn't closed off to where like if those things came up in meeting someone that I felt was a potential partner, like that I would shut them down because of those things. So I wouldn't say like I had, like I said, I don't think I had a whole lot of, and I was young when I met you and like the whole thought of like, okay, I have a lifelong partner came up. I was 22. So I was young. Like, I don't know. We're just going to be together. We're going to have fun. We're going to vibe. Like, like it wasn't, I don't think I really grasped a better idea of like what I wanted out of marriage until maybe 24, 25. And even then, like saying that is still pretty young. And so that, even that, I think as we progressed in our relationship, that evolved for both of us, like what we wanted out of, what we expected out of marriage and each other.
Yeah, I think, and for me, I've gone on record before to say that, like, and, you said it, that when we met, like, marriage wasn't really high on my list of priorities.
Yeah, where was it on your list of priorities?
It wasn't on the list
it was
of
priorities. under the paper?
And that was mainly because, I was married before it ended horribly. And, I just decided that I wasn't interested.
You're going to just be in the streets.
He
was for the streets.
Oh, yeah, the streets.
Oh, Lord.
The streets was about this life. Yeah.
What?
But, and when I met you, it was like, yeah, we were just vibing, right?
You was vibing.
Yeah, yeah, man. I saw that picture on Facebook, and I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I want to get to know this one.
Whatever.
Baby. And I still see that. I scrolled through Instagram the other day, and I gone all the way back down there, 2014, 2015. I remember. I remember that picture. I showed my wife. I see her there. See her there picture. That's her there picture. I remember what that was. But my whole thing was I ain't really trying to get married no more. I already been down that road. It was hurtful. It failed. I'm good. And honestly, when we talk about, I'll never forget, we were in our apartment in Sarabang, and he was like, what we doing? And I was like, what you talking about? And he was like, we can get married or what?
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's how I remember.
That's actually a nice way you put it. Yeah. I like that way. Go with that one.
And I was like, I was like, yeah, like, it's, yeah, okay, cool.
That was your answer?
I think so. And then it was like, because for me, like I said, marriage wasn't a thing. Because in my mind, I'd already made the commitment, right? Like I was like, I'm already committed to you. I don't need this paper or this title to express my commitment. Like getting married ain't gonna be no commitment because the commitment is already there.
Yeah.
So like, why we need this paper to express our commitment?
Yeah.
You see? Mm-hmm. And then you was like, bullshit. And so I was like, well, anyway, if she want to get married, and he was like, you ain't gotta, you could just whatever, I could bounce. And I was like,
that's what I said.
I think so. And then so I was just like, anyway, you know what? Because you want to get married, let's go. And you remember how I proposed? You remember that awesome?
It was magical. It was so magical.
I know, right? Because I'm that kind of guy. He's magical Ethan.
You're magical Ethan.
Magical Ethan. But, I mean, fast forward, I take pride in calling you my wife.
Boy, only you have wife.
Yeah.
Only you have wife.
I know.
Yeah.
And, I'm very proud that you are my wife, and I'm happy of the relationship that we have built in the marriage.
That's so nice. Hold on. I need to let that soak in a little bit. That was nice. Sorry.
See, now I forget what I was going to say.
You're happy and you're proud of the relationship.
Right, and I'm proud of the relationship. And I honestly think that, it is better than I could ever have imagined. I didn't know what marriage
again
could be like.
What marriage again had
right, what marriage again. But I will say that, like how you had your parents to look at and kind of say, okay, well, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. I knew coming into this, even this relationship, but coming into this marriage, there was like things that, no, like I'm not prepared to do. And I was pretty good with, okay, well, if you ain't rock with that, if there isn't an alignment there, then us not doing this. For me, I think, especially like just kind of seeing what's happening, and even conversations that I've had the opportunity to have with younger fellas, they're like, but, right now, they ain't even trying to get married. It ain't even make no sense. And where I'm not like, oh, you should get married because he who find a wife find a good thing. I'm like, well, if that's your truth, then that's fine. But I will tell you that a good woman will make you an even better man. And so if you're striving to be the best man that you can be.
Say it again.
A good woman will make you an even better man.
Yes.
And so if you're striving to be the best man that you can be, it would be in your best interest to align yourself with a good woman. And and I legit told him that, right? And so, I think that's where I'm at. As far as I know that I'm a better man because of you being my wife.
You're trying to get extra brownie points today.
You're trying to get me some brownie points.
Okay.
Some brownie points.
After all that being sweet.
So somebody's watching this, right? And actually, you ain't even got to go to somebody who's watching this. Like we got our team is in studio. Mm-hmm. Some of them shacking up.
Oh,
actually,
gosh.
I think all of my team shacking up.
Oh gosh, all the business.
all of my team shacking up.
Wow.
But I'm just based on conversations, marriage has been thought. What advice do you have?
We're talking about marriage.
Huh? And but what advice do you have for somebody out there, who may be considering marriage, maybe a bit hesitant, or just kind of like, what advice, if this is a path that they want, what advice do you have for them to make it the best thing ever?
Advice that I have for someone that is considering marriage or like wants to be married.
Yeah, like they want to be married, or they maybe considering, maybe don't know if this
marriage
is
is in the discussion.
Yeah, they kind of just based on where they are in life and where they are, they kind of talking about this marriage thing. Like it may be something.
It may be a thing. It may not be.
It may not be a thing. Like should they waste it? Because I mean, we lived together for almost 2 years before we got married.
Yeah.
And so like, is that something that you recommend? Is that not? Like, if you're ready there, you might as well get married. Because that was what my mom was saying. Y'all done living together. You might as well make an honest woman out of that
Oh,
girl.
gosh.
You're done shacking up. And so, like, if you out there playing house, like, what kind of advice you got for somebody who may be
I feel like
considering?
that's like a two-part question.
I think this is like a 5-part question.
Okay.
Answer whichever one you feel is.
I feel
you
inspired to
you
answer.
you could add the most value to.
Okay, so I think advice for someone that's like, marriage may be in the discussions, like, do they want to get married? They know they want to get married. Like, advice I would give is, as much as possible, if you're already with someone that you are like, I wonder if this could be my person that I marry, or I know this is my person that I marry. I think a big thing is, as much as possible, knowing yourself, having that relationship with yourself, and like you said, getting to a point where you are good as an individual, whether you are with that person or not, like, you are solid, and that the partnership with that person from a relationship standpoint, if you're already in a relationship now, and from a marriage, if that's someone that you want to be with in a marriage, that person is going to amplify and elevate who you already know yourself to be, right? And they're not going to make you shrink or, derail you, distract you, make you feel guilty for dreaming. Like, they should be that person that adds fuel to the fire and not mash on your coals,
Right. I feel
That's
that.
prophetic.
Yes.
So I think that's a big thing. Like, we talk about individualism a lot in our discussion today. And I think in order for that to be an element in your marriage where you're able to still be individuals and come together and be a strong unit, you as an individual should be bringing, at least knowing who you are, what you want, where you want to go to the relationship without the injection of thoughts, ideas, things from your partner. And then maybe when you come together, maybe some things do change. Maybe some things do align differently based on what they want to do and what you want to do and where you want to go together. But you're at least bringing something, because some of those things, when you get to discussing, may actually be non-negotiables for both of you. And then maybe in that discussion, you have that realization, like, all right, like, this may not align because we're on, depending on what the thing is, we're on two total different, wavelengths, and we want different things out of life. But I think that's a big thing, like, knowing who you are, knowing as much of who you are and what you want, and that may change, right, as we change and evolve. But I think the foundation and those core values and things, like, are really important to know and be able to discuss with your partner as early as possible. And then from the shacking up thing, like, I did it. And it worked out. I don't think it works out for everyone. I think in our case, it worked out because we were living together for a year, engaged for a year, living together, and then we got married. So 2 years total before we got married, but we were engaged that second year of living together, right? So I think that first year, pre-engagement, gave us the opportunity to see how each other, like, to kind of know how to maneuver with each other in the same space, learn how to respect each other's space. It gave us the space to have those discussions on, like, what was really important to us as far as living together, figuring out how we were splitting duties of the home and how things got done. We went to therapy that first year because we was gloves on for some things. Sword in hand for some things, and typically we were really good with communication, but with some stuff we were really button heads that first year of living together. So I think looking back at it now, that year of living together before engagement and then 2 years before we got married made it really kind of seamless when we got married. Like, we got those speed bumps out the way, and we were already, like, working on other big things as a unit. So I think it really depends on the people. Like, for us, we were healthy enough in our relationship and secure enough in our relationship to know we needed help from an early stage. I think some people, for various reasons, personalities, where they are in the relationship, may not have that, like, ability. And
Yeah.
that was, again, you like therapy, you like therapy.
I do. I love
That was your
therapy.
idea, even though it came from a place of you wanted the therapist to tell me I
I
was
wasn't done
wrong.
about you
I'm
was the
crazy.
problem. That was the
But
goal.
it worked out.
Yeah, it did.
I think for some people that living together could actually be the demise of the relationship. They may realize like, whoa, like this is a lot, which I think is still also good. Like it's better
I think it's better to do that and not have
the
the
pressure and the weight of marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it depends, though. I think it depends on the person, their values as well, and what they're doing it for. Like, are you doing it because you can't afford rent on your own? Because that's a whole another weight as well. Now you feel stuck because you have nowhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't
Like, I think there's
maintain
different-
the lifestyle.
Yeah. Or are you doing it because y'all are both trying to save towards now a wedding or a future together, and it doesn't make sense, both of y'all pumping money into different bills and whatever, and so now y'all have agreed we're going to live together for this common goal. I think it's different. I think it depends on the couple, but I think it worked. I was going to say I subscribe to it. I don't want to say that. I think it worked for us in our instance. I don't think it works for everybody. I think you have to have a clear reason for why you're doing it, just like anything else. Know your why. And I think you have to be prepared for it not to work out. Like, I wouldn't suggest going into that scenario saying this has to work,
Yeah.
because then that puts, again, an unnecessary weight on both parties.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, you could tell you've been married. You're just agreeing.
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, it ain't nothing left for me to say.
No
on that.
notes.
So, no, we good. So, well, I mean, final thoughts on marriage.
It's lit.
It's lit. That's what all right, I could do that. All right.
Marriage is lit. I think when you are in I do think our marriage is lit.
You know what I don't get?
Can you answer the question first?
Yes, our marriage is lit.
Okay.
But what I don't get is like how people is be like, oh well, you gotta argue. Like you can fight, and fighting is just a part of marriage. We don't fight. Fighting ain't a part of marriage. I mean, like how people be like, like we don't carry on like that.
We be too tired.
I think we honestly, I think the success. If you want a successful marriage, just stay fucking busy. Just be busy building something bigger than you. I think that's also key. Because then, if you busy building something bigger than you, you're busy building yourself. You can be too busy to be arguing about dumb shit.
I think it also is. I think it's a personality thing for both of us too. We're not by nature, like, we don't get heated very easily. So if something gets you to the point where I know that you are, it ain't even that you going in, but the left side of your top lip stop twitching and your eyes start, and you are making a conscious effort to not raise your voice because you don't like to, I'm like, okay, he is mad. Like, I've learned over the years, like, not to get defensive in that moment and allow you to say what you need to say, because I'm like taking it all in, the lip twitching, the eye twitching a little bit. You are the cadence of your speaking, and I could tell you are trying to be respectful. You're trying to get your point across. I'm like, okay, he's upset. Let him say what he has to say. And I'm conscious of my response to what you say. Sometimes it's very little, because I realize, okay, like I need to let it breathe a little bit. Sometimes it is, you say something that doesn't warrant a response. It's just like, I need to let you know this happened today, or this happened and this is how I feel about it. I've been thinking about it. And then sometimes we do have a discussion about it and we're able to, like, hash it out. And I think vice versa with me. You allow me, I a little more biggity. But you allow me, if you know something is really frustrating me, you allow me to, and I try to be respectful. Sometimes I just be a little biggity. But I think we do a good job in, like, gauging our response to each other's, I guess, elevated, we check the temperature with each other. And then we don't, if you're escalating, I don't rise with you. Like, and vice versa. I think that's a big thing. Like why we don't have these like blow ups and like finger in the face and screaming, and we don't do that because I think we do a good job like communicating in a healthy way and like also gauging the temperature.
And then it's just a matter of respect, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, words is stick, babe. Like, you know, and so you got to be careful not to say something that's emotionally charged and, you know, that you got to apologize for later.
Yeah, because you don't forget.
No, I don't. I remember everything you say. But yeah, all right. So, baby, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome.
The Real EQ podcast. It's it was really good to have you here as my guest.
Thank you for having me as your guest.
Awesome. All right, guys, there you have it. You heard it from the woman herself. I am awesome. I'm a great husband, a great man. But some key takeaways from this amazing conversation with my lovely wife, Dekel Quant, is that you want to be in a marriage where your individuality is still preserved, but you also want to be working towards something greater than yourself, something as a unit. And you want to be respectful of each other, understanding that sometimes it will take time for you to get to know the other person. But once you know kind of the telltale signs of when things could escalate, don't match that escalation. Don't match the vibe, kind of de-escalate. And therapy, you know, it's one of those fundamental things that I think a lot of us, especially nowadays, take for granted. I'm a proponent of therapy. I didn't realize that until I was an adult, but it helps. And so, you know, I believe in getting professional help in all areas of your life. So not just for marriage, but in business, that may look like coaching, and health and fitness, that may look like a trainer. And in marriage, it could sometimes look like a therapist. And so, you know, I do hope that you found some value from this conversation and that you can implement some of the things that we talked about. If you want to see more conversations like this with me and my wife, please leave a comment, like, share, all that good stuff, subscribe. And until next time, don't forget to do the work and get uncomfortable. Peace. Good.
That was fun.